Good evening from the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium, just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. We welcome you to another basketball doubleheader. Today, Castleton University takes the trip as the Spartans take on the UMass Boston Beacons. Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Braverman, bringing you the action. This is a very intense game. We've got about a week and a half left in the regular season. These two teams sitting at number 4 and number 5 in the conference standings, firmly in a playoff spot, but they would surely like to improve their position. As we look at our season statistics between these two, it's almost like looking in a mirror between these two. Both average the same amount of points, roughly, and points allowed. The biggest difference, though, look at the turnovers. 19 a game for UMass Boston, 13 for Castleton. So these two teams are basically polar. They're basically the same of each other. It'll be very exciting to see who gets the edge in this one, as our matchup to watch puts us at a battle of a couple of 1,000-point scorers for their career. We start with Meg Dixon for UMass Boston, the current conference leader in points per game, shooting 41%, including 9 rebounds a game. She does it all for UMass Boston. As I said, leading scorer, second in rebounds, top 15 field goal percentage. She's all over the court. But Elise McGraw is the second leading scorer in the conference of LEC play, 16 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Magro is just the same as Dixon. Again, it's almost like looking in a mirror for these two teams. We'll take a look also at our sneak peek for the Beaks as we are in the middle part of the week. It's a lot of action taking place. We've got both hockey teams, the men and the women, playing this Friday. The women will be at Plymouth State starting at 6 o'clock, and the men will be right only a few feet from us as they take on Skidmore College. That starts at 7. Saturday, though, is a very busy day. You've got the indoor track at the Westfield State Invitational. That will take place all day on the 11th. And then basketball will have a doubleheader at Rhode Island College. The women started off at 1, followed by the men at 3. And there's possible playoff clinching scenarios for those games on Saturday. And ice hockey will also take on Castleton. The women will be in Vermont at 3 o'clock, and the men will be right here once again starting at 4. Our head coaching breakdown looks like this. It's a battle of young buck versus old vet. You got Heather Jacob in her second season, only 2 games back of Castleton for the number 4 seed in the LEC tournament. She's taking her team off the court right now, just behind their bench to get started. Jacobs has done a great job in her second year. Only 2 games back for that number 4 seed. Definitely in a prime position. It's been looking better these past couple of games as they've gotten a lot better at their shot selection. You'd still like to see some improvements. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Castleton, you've got Tim Barrett in his 21st season, 21 years for Castleton. He's made 4 NCAA appearances. And he's got a staff all around him. Castleton looking great at 14-7. They have struggled recently, but if there's anyone who knows how to handle the final stretch of the regular season, it is Tim Barrett, working on year number 21. How about our individual leaders for both teams? As you're going to see a lot of Meg Dixon here at points, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, rebounds. But of course, you do have Alexa Potter, always a threat down low and in the post. You got to think they'll be looking to her in the paint, shooting 49% from the field. And how about sneaky stat in assists per game? Carrie Ann Farina has become a very integral part of this rotation with her passing ability, leading the team at 3.7 assists per game. Meanwhile, this is a very strong offensive team in Castleton. They've got 3 of the top 10 scorers in the Little East Conference. Obviously, McGraw with points. You have Liz Bailey with field goal percentage. And Kelly Vuz just knows how to shoot. 3-point percentage at 35. Free throws at 78. You've got a 3-headed monster that UMass Boston's got to be very, very careful about. So we are going to take a break. We got starting lineups and the opening tip coming up between UMass Boston and Castleton.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason. And that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
We are back at the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. Here's your starting 5 for each side as they are about to be introduced. For the Beaks, it's the usual 5. You got Meg Dixon, followed by Carrie and Farina. Sunny Green is in there, along with Paige Olivier and Alexa Potter. Sunny Green, by the way, did not play in last Saturday's game against Plymouth State. Meanwhile, for the Spartans, Adams, McGrow, Buzz, Tatton, and Bailey are the 5 to look at for Castleton. As I mentioned, 3 of the top 10 scorers in the LEC, all in the same lineup. So it's going to be a real defensive task for UMass Boston to try and shut down this offense. They've got size, they've got shooting, they've got speed. It is going to be very difficult for the Beaks to try and stop, let alone limit. We have lineups again being introduced. As mentioned, this is number 4 and number 5 in the LEC standings. Everyone chasing Rhode Island College and Eastern Connecticut State, sitting at 1 and 2. The Beaks' task right now really is about getting a home game. That's going to be the biggest thing for the Beaks right now. They're sitting at number 5. And we'll see how they're able to do it. Both teams are coming in hot. They've won 4 of their last 6 games. Beaks at 12 and 10 overall, 5 and 7 in the conference. Meanwhile, Spartans, as mentioned, 14 and 7 with a 7 and 5 conference record. As mentioned, only after tonight, 3 games left, 2 of them on the road. We are minutes away from getting the tip here. It's going to be really interesting how Bailey and Potter work with each other. Bailey, the sophomore, stands at 6'1". Potter, the junior forward, at 6 feet. Be a real battle down low. Then, of course, you have Dixon and McGrow. Of course, Dixon has the size advantage. See what happens here. Definitely feels a lot better here physically inside Clark Athletic Center instead of the freezing cold temperatures, historically cold temperatures that we had last Saturday against Plymouth State. So Potter and Bailey will be on the tip. Quick last-minute adjustments. Dixon was over that free throw line. There's the tip, and it is gathered by Potter. We are underway. Sonny Green controlling the possession. A lot of moving around here off the ball. Dixon looking to drive in. Loses the handle and stolen by Adams. Here comes Buzz the other way. Going to McGrow. Fakes the pull-up. Now on the baseline. No good. Offensive rebound. Turns and score for Bailey. That's Quinn Tatton on the offensive rebound. Tatton, one of the top rebounders in the conference. On the season, Tatton averages 7 rebounds a game. Here's Olivier. Off the mark from 3. Ball tipped around and gathered by Bailey. McGrow coming back the other way. Working on Green. Here's the drive and the foul by Potter. Get McGrow to the line. Barton coming off a 70-46 loss to Eastern Connecticut on Saturday. They were outscored 47-21 in the second half. First one is good for McGrow. McGrow on the year is a 73% free throw shooter. She goes 2 of 2. I think for the Beak, past couple of weeks, they've started a little slow in recent games, but they have been able to keep any kind of deficit at a small margin. And they've used a strong second half. Olivier backed it out, looking for options. Now down low for Potter, loses the handle, gets it back. 5 on the shot clock, gets it out to Dixon. Dixon's got to put up a deep 3 off the mark. And the loose ball. A couple of Spartan teammates. Well, miscommunication on the rebound. Beacons get it right back. Looks like just confirming the call. Beacons maintain the possession and kind of a bailout there. As they had to go, Dixon had to go with a deep 3 at the end of the shot clock. Now they get a reset of 20. That pass was going for Green. Another steal there by Emily Adams. Back to Elise McGrow. McGrow going to run the offense here. There's McGrow driving in. Now kicks to the corner. Adams, 3. Off the mark. Green with the board. Goes for Rena. Bringing it up the floor. Offense has struggled as of late. 0 for 2, already 2 turnovers. Arena trying to look for options. Had the pass tipped by McGrow. Stolen by Buzz. Gets it back to McGrow. Out to Tatton. Tatton fakes it. Now, oh, nice backdoor cut. McGrow went for the extra pass, but Potter got a hand in there. Deflected it away. Arena slowing the pace down. Beacons are going to go about 3 minutes possibly without scoring their first bucket. They're looking for their first point. Arena to Potter. Out of Green. Green baseline drive. There's the double pass behind Potter. Chase for it, and Dixon somehow saves it, but it goes to McGrow. 2-on-1 fast break. McGrow poked out from behind by Potter. Good play, but Farina was on the line. And the Spartans will take the possession back. Our first sub of the game, Jensen, is back in. Taylor Jensen got a strong freshman campaign. Had a couple of starts in the last couple of games. McGrow off the mark on the layup. Farina up the floor. Offense was focused a little bit around Green. See how that changes here. Farina gets into the paint. The kick out for Olivier. Three-pointer. Off the mark. Farina with the offensive board. Saves it. And Dixon back to Farina. Beak still looking for that first point. Olivier fakes it. Trying to go for Potter. Potter now goes in. Stripped. Good play there by Buzz to get a hand in there. Kelly Buzz has been active with the hand. Both teams in a real defensive battle. Only 4-0 as we're hitting the halfway mark of the first. Oh, nice cut. And the finish there by Bailey. And Heather Jacobs needs a timeout. So 6-0 is the score. Beaks are on top of the Spartans.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. It's one of those moments you never forget.
6-0 our score. Spartans over the Beaks. Proud to welcome Steve McGuire to the broadcast. Steve, welcome to the broadcast.
Howdy, folks. Happy to be here.
Thanks. So you've been here for pretty much the start of the tip-off. We just got you on here. What have you seen so far in these first couple of minutes?
Swarming defense. They're switching a lot on the screen, so we're having guards being constantly pestered on the outside. Having a hard time making passes to the inside to our big man. It's pretty good defense. So
again, Beaks looking for that first point. As this is a very important game. We were talking about it before. These two teams are number 4 and 5 in LEC. These two teams basically mirror images of each other. And home court for UMass Boston has got to be extremely important as we get close to the postseason play.
yeah, I noticed walking into the gym, we got the heaters bumping up today. It's hot in here. It's usually a very cold gym, but they got the heaters all the way up, which adds to some fatigue, some frustration. See what happens.
Offensive foul there going on Potter. I mean, it's better than last Saturday when it was extremely cold here.
Yeah, we'll take the heat over that any day of the week.
There's Tatiana Fevry checking in. Had a great game last Saturday against Plymouth State. 10 points, matches her career high. Go along with 6 rebounds and 5 steals coming off the bench. Here goes McGrow with the handoff to Kelly Buzz. Buzz crossover, gets into the lane. And an extra step there on the travel, trying to drive on in. Beacons will get it right back.
And if it looks funny, you got to blow the whistle.
Beaks have started 0 for 3 from the field. They've got 6 turnovers already. You saw it in the pregame. They average 19 turnovers a game.
Yeah, with this lineup that the Beacons have out, you can switch all 5. So they're just being able to get over screens and pester them on the outside where they like to operate.
Dixon now in the corner, back to Farina. Farina turns, fires, and scores. There's your first bucket for the Beaks.
Beautiful.
Little 2-person game between Dixon and Farina. She got into the post. Easy turnaround jumper.
Yeah, not your typical post player, but nice play.
Rebound now to Jensen. Talked about it really early on in the first. This is a team that started off slow in the first couple of minutes, recent games. They've been able to pick it up. And, of course, using some strong defense, they've kept that deficit very short. There's Fevry on the cut. Hop step, draws the foul. And Fevry will get herself to the line.
Nice little backdoor action in the middle of the floor. It's a weird place to backdoor, but it was a great pass.
Interesting, even with the size that the Spartans present, Beacons have been going low, looking for a lot of post action.
Yeah, I think with that many switches on the outside, they're just trying to get them perhaps a little bit to open them up.
Fevry does not get the bounce on that first one. This is a team that only shoots 6% from the free throw line, right at the bottom among LEC. Second one is good. Fevry goes 1 of 2. It's now a 6-3 game. Throw over to Tatton. Now Adams on the reverse. Difficult shot. Found the edge and reversed it home.
Really difficult reverse layup. Meg tried as hard as she could, but couldn't get to it.
Now at Farina. Fevry. Somewhat of a small lineup out there, as you were mentioning, Steve. Dixon's basically your stretch center, being the tallest player out there. Farina driving on the baseline, swings it around. Olivier knocks down the 3. Jensen, offensive rebound is short. And a foul is going to go. We'll see where this one goes. Going to go on Olivier.
It's a good look for 3. You know, you like that inside-out pass for 3, but not falling quite yet.
Beats are now 0 of 4 from beyond the arc. Only 1 of 6 from the field in total. McGrow gets it out to Poirier in our first bits of action. Gotten back to Buzz. 10 on the shot clock here. Quick ball movement, looking for the cutter. McGrow turns and fires, gets the bounce.
Really good passing. They're hitting the slashers quite a bit.
Yeah. Not only a lot of passes, but quick passes, some quick split decisions, got that defense on their heels.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, coaches always say 5 passes before you can shoot. 5 fast passes is kind of ideal.
Dixon unable to put in the reverse. Quickly up the floor, good play by Farina. Deflects it out of bounds. Spartans will keep the possession. 10-3 is our score. Spartans on top of the beat. And these two teams last met on January 4th in Castleton. Went to overtime. Spartans used a 16-6 overtime period. Come away with the 10-point win.
That's a lot of points in overtime. That was a lot.
Off the mark there by Adams. The air, fakes it. Farina back out to Jensen. Offense will reset. Jensen looking for options. Goes to Fevry. Fevry right at the free throw line. Oh, what a move by to get past McGrow and laying it home.
That was nasty.
Tell you, Fevry's had quite a stretch here. Mentioned the career high last Saturday. He's just brought that energy as well. The freshman from Drake at Mass. And there's an answer by Kelly Buzz with the and 1.
Guards are causing a lot of issues right now. Quick first steps. Can find the body before they finish. Tough.
The 4th team foul going against UMass Boston. Foul goes on Farina. Now here is Buzz. The 5th leading scorer in the conference. Little under 14.5 points per game. Shooting 35% from 3. So not only does she have that drive that we just saw, she can shoot from the outside.
That's a tough person to guard. You don't know what they want to do. Can't give them any space or they'll shoot it.
Fevry to Jensen. Jensen looking to get in. Turns and fires. Off of the mark. Goes Buzz the other way.
Causing a lot of problems. No shots in rhythm, just kind of one-on-one and hoping something happens.
Tracking down the possession is McKieran. Maggie McKieran, oh, what a find in the finish by Poirier. Saw that extra defender come home. Great vision to find Poirier with the easy make, and already it's a 10-point game. Eeks looking for some kind of offense here. They have struggled. Fevry gonna go back out to Jensen, now to Dixon, 10 on the shot clock. Dixon, cross court, Olivier. Drives, floater, high off glass, no, and an offensive foul. Sort of a late call there.
Yeah,
It looked like the rebound was gathered and then the foul was called, but a good play on the defensive end.
Yeah, just because it's a late whistle doesn't mean it's a wrong whistle all the time. I'm always the first to complain about a late whistle, but sometimes they're right.
Jamie Pearson is checked in, as well as Green back into the game for the Beacons. That one off the mark, rebound Dixon. Eeks have already committed 6 turnovers, and they're only shooting 2 of 10 from the field. Dixon, baseline drive. Little sidestep connects. They're like a mini Euro step there on the baseline.
Yeah, Euro step going towards the other basket. Never seen it before.
Buzz with the handoff to McKieran. Over to Buzz. Buzz looking to get in. Shot with the left off the mark. Farina with the miss. Now we got about a 2.5-second difference between shot and game clock. Dixon is open for 3. In and out. Rebound to Bailey.
That was a great look in transition. First one of the night, doesn't always fall, but it's good to get your first one out of the way early.
UMass is now 0 of 6 from 3. Now 10 seconds to go. Buzz driving in, scoop layup, no. Fevry with the miss, 3 seconds to go. She can push it. Got to get a shot up. That's a 2-pointer, and it's good! Tatiana Fevry, a long 2-pointer at the buzzer. When you are feeling it, you are feeling it.
Good way to end the first quarter.
So the gap is short. The Spartans with a great start, but now they only lead by 6. We'll be right back.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
15-9, the Spartans lead the Beacons as we start the second quarter. Steve, so far it's been Tatiana Fevry taking over on offense. Check out this first play early in the first. Little in and out move and an easy drive there.
You know, pro level hesitation right there, just gets them to bite.
That first move and then the second move all of a sudden. And then, of course, at the end, that we just saw a few moments ago, Fevry pushing it up the floor. You almost kind of wish took half a second fewer so she could get a 3 instead of a long 2.
Yeah. You know, one thing about her, she's really good not only changing directions, but she changes rhythm. So she'll be bouncing the ball on the 1s and the 2s, and then all of a sudden just move on a half beat, and it throws everybody off. It's a really talented skill, and she's only a freshman. She's got a lot of time to develop that.
So Fevry, 6 minutes off the bench. She's got 5 points, 2 of 2 shooting, and 1 of 2 from the free throw line. But
from freshman.
Yeah, but so far here, for the majority of that first quarter, aside from those 2 buckets, it's been nothing but Castleton here as they lead by 6.
Beacons are very quiet right now. A lot of open cuts like that happening.
Another open cut there for Liz Bailey. Getting it to go. Arena coming back the other way. Castleton, it's like they're going man-to-man on the defensive end. There's Fevry. Fevry going isolation, drives it again. And I think they're going to call it a foul on the floor against Adams.
I like this idea. Just let Fevry work a little bit. She's able to get past her defender pretty easily.
And that kind of throws Castleton's defense off a little bit because you go into the game plan thinking you got to shut down Dixon, you have Potter, you have all these scorers. You totally forgot about Fevry and the scoring stretch she's had.
Absolutely. Your game plan was to switch a lot of picks, but now picks aren't happening, so it throws you for a loop.
Around the perimeter. Over to McGraw. McGraw sees the lane. Now it's going to spin into the paint. Floated up off the glass. No. There's Bevan Jakimi Pearson on the rebound. It's all about those answers, it looks like here it's going to be for the Beaks. Can they score the buckets when they make those stops? Farina to Dixon. Dixon hesitated on the three. That's a travel violation. That's the 8th turnover now for UMass Boston.
It's a lot of turnovers early. You said they averaged 19 a game?
Average over 19.5 per game. That's 7th in the conference. But they kind of balance it out as they force 19 turnovers a game by their opponent, which ranks in the top 3.
The wash, okay.
And Jakimi Pearson's going to pick up this personal foul. Shot clock remains at 21 here. We're at the 8:36 mark of the second. Bailey turning and scoring.
Very solid jump hook.
Bailey's had her way here so far in the first half. Using that 6-1 frame without Potter in the lineup. Dixon, baseline drive. Pearson, deep three, nails it. Beacons were 0 of 5 from 3 up until that point.
It's exactly the kind of look a shooter needs, those. Inside out, hit it right in the shooting pocket. Good look for the first shot of the game for her.
Now Bailey looking for options. Tatton. Tatton blocked by Green. Good play to stay with it. McKieran with a high arcing three off the mark. Fevry with the rebound. Now Farina gets it over to Green. Did it on the defensive end. We'll see if she can do it on the offensive end. Farina wanting the offense set up. That's in. Pull up off the mark. Rebound Adams. Kind of an interesting play call there. Everyone was on the baseline. Oh, what a find. McGraw able to find Liz Bailey. Timeout Beacons. And the Spartans don't look like they're stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, that's just a relationship you've had with your center for a couple of years now. You can throw it up high, know they're going to go get it. That was a really good pass.
And again, you're seeing the size advantage there. You saw Bailey run the floor, and McGraw literally just throw it right to where only she could catch it. Was able to put it in the layup. And while we have a break here on a timeout, do you miss any of our news or any recent plays? Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search UMass Beacons as the handle. Take a look at the play by Sonny Green on the defensive end a couple of moments ago. Eventually led to the stop, but a good play on the defensive end. Green was getting the stop there, and then later on, we have Jakimi Pearson able to knock down the three. Watch this three-pointer again. All the way from one end of the court. How about the vision by Dixon?
Great way to find your shooters wide open.
That's one of Dixon's favorite plays, that baseline drive and then kick it out to the perimeter, and then shooters just able to knock it down.
Yeah, drive to the middle doesn't always draw the defenders in, but drive baseline, everybody kind of turns their head and looks. Really, if you're a shooter, you should be able to find a place in the court that pass can happen.
So it's a 9-point advantage for the Spartans, outscoring the Beacons in the paint 14-6. And remember, the last time they played on January 4th, they outscored the Beaks 30-16 in the paint. So normally, UMass loves to use the paint to their advantage, but when you meet a team with size, it's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, guards are sweltering, and the big are staying put. It's crowded in the middle.
Farina up with the possession. Over now to Dixon. Farina, looking for options, goes back out to Dixon. Jakimi Pearson. 8 on the shot clock here. Jakimi Pearson crossover. Looking for the cutter. There's Fevry, hangs. Doesn't get it to go, and there's McGraw on the miss. McGraw behind the back. Sonny Green from behind. 2 strong defensive plays. Had the block earlier and then the steal from behind.
I really like that cut by Fevry. Everybody else is kind of standing on the three-point line waiting for the point guard, the ball handler, to do something. Fevry taking advantage of people not paying attention.
Pearson uses the Euro. Doesn't get the bounce, though. That one went off the hands of Green as she tried to tip it away. Rebound Possession goes to the Spartans. Spartans are shooting 9 of 20 from the field. Do the math, that's 45%. But they have not made a three-pointer yet. It's just been nothing but attack. Bailey trying to get around the double team and somehow finds a way to get it to go.
That is a really good jump hook. That was fantastic.
Bailey in 9 minutes is 6 of 6 from the field, has 12 points. Green off the mark on the three. Fevry keeps the possession alive, chasing it down in the corner. Brina using the double screen, back out to Dixon, has the space, and connects on the three. Beacons have been struggling from three, but both of their makes have looked pretty good with nothing but net.
Yeah, really got a chance to step into it and feel, unbothered by defense on that three-pointer. You need that as a shooter as early in the game as possible.
Here's Bailey driving once again, high off the mark. The foul goes on Dixon. Bailey will get herself back to the line. As mentioned, Bailey already with 12 points, coming off a subpar performance, at least in her eyes, against Eastern Connecticut. 9 points on 4 of 5 shooting and 3 rebounds. This is a player who averages almost 14 points a game and 7 rebounds, and is second in the conference in field goal percentage, 51.5.
She is efficient, very efficient.
First one is good for the 6'1" sophomore from West Rutland, Vermont. And Bailey goes 2 for 2. Was a 64.5% shooter from the line heading into today.
Not bad for a center. Take that.
Jensen out of Green. Green looking for a cutter. Now goes to Pearson. Using a very small lineup here for majority here of this first half. Haven't seen a lot of Potter. Bevry baseline drive, back out. Dixon with space again. Knocks it down.
That was a good pass to drive baseline and have the wherewithal to turn around in the air and throw it to your best shooter. That's a really good pass.
Tim Barrett takes the timeout, sees the lead now at 7, and Dixon is starting to heat up. Dixon, really a big momentum player. Once he sees one go through, starts to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, that's some of the best shooters are. You always keep shooting the ball no matter what if you're a shooter, but you got to watch the first one going to get that confidence and feel, the rhythm set in for the game.
Just past the halfway mark here in the second quarter. Barnes led by as much as 10. Cut now to 7. He's shooting a little bit better here, 42% from the floor, 3 of 7, including 3 of 4 from 3.
Meg Dixon is following the advice I would give as a shooter in college was, the further you step back, the more open you get. So just keep shooting from deep. They can't keep coming and get you.
I think she's also getting that space. You saw all the space with those play designs using those screens as you were mentioning. I know. Yep. There's Fevry with the steal, 2-on-1 with Green. And it looks like Fevry lost the handle trying to go to the pass for Green.
She's the one bringing the energy, though, right now. On defense and offense, she's making a lot of plays happen just purely out of effort. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Fevry's slowly been earning more and more minutes. Benching coming off a career high, 10 points in her first year here with the Beaks. McGraw's off the mark on that layup. Green has the space for 3, knocks it down. And how about the Beaks shooting here for 3? They're now 4 of 5 here in the quarter. This is a team that only averaged 26% shooting from 3 entering today. Foul going on Jensen.
Tough foul away from the ball.
But it looked like Heather Jacobs decided to change the strategy here in the second. Instead of trying to attack the paint, but then kick it out for some three-pointers.
The best way to do it, and even in transition, setting picks in transition to get open for threes is a great way to do it.
Bailey doesn't have the angle. There's Green again with another block. Sunny Green has come out firing here on defense. 2 blocks, 1 steal. Doesn't look like a player who missed last Saturday's game. So the jump ball on that block gave the possession back to UMass Boston here. And we have a loose ball foul. I believe this is going to be on McGrow.
We committed a foul away from the ball on our end. They paid back the favor, so we'll take it.
And only 2 free throw attempts here for UMass Boston. 5 already for Castleton. Meanwhile, UMass Boston, 4 of 10 from 3. All of their makes have been here in this quarter. Dixon with the turnaround, doesn't get the bounce. Tip ball is gathered to Fevry. Dixon again with the space. No good. And over the top on the rebound goes Jensen.
There's times as a rebounder you just got to know when you're beaten out of position and just let them have the rebound. You can pester them when they put it on the ground, but you don't always have to go for the rebound.
Spartans get the possession back here. For options is Perry St. Peter. Now gets to the corner for Adams. Adams sees the space, baseline drive, and the foul by Fevry coming in trying to contest it late. Adams will go back to the line. Now Beacons are in the penalty here with 3 minutes to go in the first half. This is a Castleton that's taken, entering today, 363 free throw attempts, second most among conference teams.
That track, I mean, they drive to the basket quite a bit. Something that they're going to get a lot of shots from. Oh.
And looks like Adams with a lane violation there.
Not something you see very often.
Yeah, very, very rare do you see lane violations anymore. Always get someone doesn't know the release of the shooter, as Fevry with the elbow jumper has now cut this lead to 3.
Fevry's bringing all the energy, providing assists to the big shooters and working hard on defense. She's the spark plug you need.
Beacons were down by as much as 11. They've got it to within 2 possessions. There's Sonny Green once again. Gets the deflection out of bounds. Castleton keeps the possession. So far you got to say you like what the defense has done here for UMass Boston. It's just the offense that's got to pick up. And another foul, as that was Kelly Buzz. Went on the initial drive, but was able to get her own miss and get herself to the line.
Yeah, Fevry working really hard, but the brakes aren't working too good. All gas pedal right now, having a hard time pulling up on driving offenders.
Already the second personal foul. And it doesn't look big now, but eventually you get later to that game. Those 2 turn into 3, 3 goes to 4.
Quick math once you get to your second.
Here is Buzz. A 5th leading scorer in the LEC, and there's Bailey. Turns a 2-point possession into a 3-point possession as she gets the offensive rebound and the putback. Coming up on 2 minutes to go here. Green for Farina, fakes it, drives it, hangs. Oh, difficult angle for Carrie and Farina.
Really tough finish. Ball over the head, jumping backwards a little bit. That was a difficult layup.
Weaving through on that baseline drive. And there's Fevry, comes up with the steal. Has got 1 to beat. Hangs and draws the foul.
So much energy.
All over Luna Perry St. Peter. Tried to go coast to coast off the steal.
She just got quick hands, swarm faster than everybody else, so get taken care of.
What's funny is you always talk about the X factor in playoffs. You always got to find that maybe 3rd or 4th option who's got to have a game or 2. Fevry is emerging as one of those players.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the freshman curse. Like, the first half of the season you don't get a lot of looks, but as things start falling apart, coaches have to find pieces to puzzle. And that's when the freshmen usually get a look.
2 for 2 goes Fevry. Fevry came into today only averaging 3 points a game, but he's had the hot hand. Mentioned once again, career high 10 points last Saturday. Does get a well-deserved rest, and we'll see Sierra Brigham in for the first time. Down low goes Bailey. Bailey fakes it, now drives, gets the angle, and scores. Final 90 seconds, you got to think Heather Jacobs heading into halftime is how do you stop number 34 in green?
Yeah, it's tough. You're playing with a smaller lineup, so this is kind of something you're sacrificing, but she's really talented in the post.
Brigham goes to Pearson. Pearson gets the handle back. Green now sees the angle and lays it home.
And that's the advantage we need to take on the other side, is be faster than their big man.
Coming up on the final minute here of the second quarter. St. Peter gets the possession, crossover. The lead's now cut to 2. It was a 10-point game after the second quarter. There's Dixon coming in with the steal. Dixon pushing the pace up the floor. Now goes to Brigham. Brigham will shoot. Off the mark. And it'll be Castleton ball.
Love that, though. Freshman right into the game. No hesitation on the first three-point shot of the game.
Beacons are shooting much better here in the second quarter. Got 31% in the first, 50% here in the second, including 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. Down low for Bailey once again. Turning and an offensive foul.
Love the sportsmanship. Love that.
Thought Bailey kind of stick the arm out there to get some space. And now the Beacons, as you're looking at it, there's 30.7 on the clock and 30 on the shot clock. You get that last shot, you could be going into halftime with a tie or possibly the lead.
Yeah, after the first quarter, it didn't seem likely, but this second quarter is going to complete 180 from what they did in the first part.
Marina starts setting it up. Gonna drive in. Wild shot, but she draws the foul on Buzz. Farina will find herself getting 2 shots. Even if it wasn't a shooting foul, they are in the bonus, so Farina's getting 2 shots nonetheless. Farina, third leading scorer, 7.4 points per game. On the year is a 59% free throw shooter. With a make here to tie this game up.
Love that going into the half. Beautiful.
And she does. There is 9.9 to go, so Spartans do have a chance to answer. Buzz goes all the way up the floor, looking to go coast to coast. Shot no good, 3 seconds to go. Dixon's gonna hurry. They have 1 first quarter buzzer. Can they do another? No. And that'll do it. So the Beaks end the first quarter down 10. They trail by as much as 11 here in this first half. But they use a strong second quarter, and all of a sudden, Steve, we got a whole new ball game tied up at 31.
Yeah, at the wash. You go into the half, make your adjustments, and you come back to essentially a fresh game. See what they can do at halftime to really stop number 34, Liz Bailey.
So we will give you more stats and more action here for halftime in just a few moments. But until then, we mentioned it, women's basketball coming off a victory at Plymouth State this past Saturday. If you missed it, here are the highlights from last Saturday's victory. We'll be right back.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life
Halftime here from Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. 31-31 is our score. Steve, it was a struggling first quarter, as we both saw, but here in the second quarter, the Beaks found a way to get on a run. Down by 11, now they've got it tied up. Here are some of the plays. Watch Dixon here. Saw that a lot in that second quarter. You give her space, she's going to make you pay.
A good shooter can just take another step back and be open. The rule.
And Dixon once again off the fine from Fevry. Of course, we're going to be talking a lot, I feel like, about Fevry here in this game. Another three-pointer here. Sonny Green gets in on the action. And then right out of the elbow here, Fevry with a beautiful shot. And just, what was it about the offense that just allowed them to find their rhythm?
You know, it was a quarter adjustment. After the first quarter, they decided to sit Potter and make it more of a guard-heavy offense. And just said, hey, you know, we're trying to force it inside. How about we take 2 dribbles inside, let them swarm, and then kick it back outside where everybody's hanging out and having fun.
So you saw there the comeback that the Beaks had. Outscored Castleton by 6. They were able to have a little bit of a gap closed at the end of the first, but eventually they got it to a tie game here.
Mini run there, and then Sophie George responds yet again. We're tied up at 14-all. And before the first quarter ended, it'll be Alexa Potter with this layup from Dixon's lob inside.
UMass Boston was able to take the victory. Here is what happened between the Panthers and the Beacons. Until then, 31-31, halftime.
Women's basketball taking on Plymouth State University to close out Girls and Women in Sports Week in Beaconville. We had a delay early on as a pipe burst in the Clark Athletic Center. You see Bobby Beacon there entertaining the fans, and we would have basketball shortly after this, and it would be raining threes on the court for both teams in the first quarter. Sarah Sweet nails a 3 for Plymouth State early on, and then Sunny Green responds with one of her own to tie it up at 6 in the first quarter. It would be then Meg Dixon nailing one from the corner, and the Beacons just like that up by 5 after a mini run there. And then Sophie George responds yet again. We're tied up at 14-all. And before the first quarter ended, it would be Alexa Potter with this layup from Dixon's lob inside. Beacons up by 3 heading into the second. We head right to the second half, and Dixon, another 3 from up top. She hit 4 on the afternoon of the 10 she attempted. And Paige Olivier, another one, would be hitting threes from the corner and all over the place in this game. Olivier, 3 for 9 from three-point range. She finished with 12 points and 9 rebounds, just shy of her first career double-double. Dixon, once again, is going to hit one of her 4 threes here. She finished with 21 points and 11 rebounds, another double-double for her. And then how about the Tatiana Fevry and Sabela Jensen connection? Back and forth, these two would go in the fourth quarter. Fevry from Jensen there gets the and one opportunity. And then Jensen from Fevry lays it up and in. The Beacons up by 20-plus points. And then once again, Fevry to Jensen lays it up and in. The Beacons are going to win this one big, not without an exclamation point to cap it all off. Emily Garufi off the bench with the three-pointer puts the Beacons up big, and they will go on to win this one 73-42 over Plymouth State. The Beacons going to close out their 2-game homestand on Wednesday night at 5:30, taking on Castleton University, a big Little East Conference matchup, a team they lost to earlier this year in overtime on the road by 10.
So the Beaks were able to pull out the victory. They snapped their small skid, I would say. But here in the second half, or in the second game, I should say, of this little home stretch that they have, they've been shooting it a lot better. Look at our halftime statistics. The shooting has definitely improved. The three-point percentage is absolutely huge right now, and that's the big difference in the offense.
Yeah, you know, in the first half, they were 0%, and in the second half, they were 50%. So it makes a huge difference when the three-pointer can be going in because they don't know what to do on defense. They want to pack the inside, but now they can't let you shoot.
And on the offensive end, you see it there, 0%. Castleton, they've only attempted 3 three-pointers. So, and we've seen the attack. We saw it in that second quarter. They're going to try and attack the paint. And you saw Liz Bailey right at the top of that list. And you see 44%. You're going to shoot 44% if almost all of your shots are layup.
Yeah, and that's also why they're getting to the line so much, because their entire offense revolves around just crashing for the basket and feeding Liz in the center. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get hit.
5 of 6, the Beaks have gone from the free throw line. Castleton has gone 7 of 9 on the free throw line. Look at the turnovers, though. Those are the big difference. You saw a ton there in that first quarter for the Beaks. They cleaned it up just a little bit, and they were able to force some from Castleton. You have to think that's going to be just as important.
Yeah, with a team that cuts to the basket that often, transition turnovers is going to be a nail in a coffin if you keep allowing it to happen.
So your leading scorer right now, obviously, is Liz Bailey. She's got 18 of the 31 Spartan points. And we were talking about it during the break, and you mentioned it right before we went to commercial. The matchup we were talking about between Bailey and Potter looks like that's not going to happen. Heather Jacob taking Potter out early on in that first quarter. We haven't seen her check back in since.
Yeah, I think their offense is just better with more speed and not anybody clogging up the middle, because that didn't work in the first half. They were, driving to the basket, Potter sitting there, the defense can collapse. With all those guards, you can really open it up and get some wide open point shots.
Yeah, but then you have someone like Meg Dixon, who you'd want her to be on the perimeter. Instead, she's guarding the center.
Yeah.
Bailey shooting 8 of 9. Is there something defensively that the Beacons try and do to try and slow Bailey down?
Got to sit on that right hand. Her go-to move is 2 dribbles to the right with a really, really efficient hook shot at the end. If you can just sit on that right arm and force her to have to spin move back to the middle or a crossover, you better your chances of her not finishing.
Bailey is 8 of 9 from the field, leading scorer with 18 points. Meanwhile, leading scorer, surprisingly, we've talked about it all for the first half, Tatiana Fevry having an incredible stretch of games here since getting more and more minutes. She leads with 9 points, 5 rebounds. Dixon with 8 points, 3 rebounds. But you have to think, not all the three-pointers are going to fall. So they got to find a different way on offense to score.
Yep, Castleton's going to make the adjustment at halftime. They're going to figure something out to scare them off the three-point line. That's when more cuts are going to have to happen. Saw Fevry make a really good cut early. Drove to the basket. Everybody's kind of watching and hanging out of the three-point line. Somebody needs to sneak back door, get an easy pass.
So while this game goes along, we've got other games going on in the LEC. Let's give you our Round the LEC scoreboard here. Rhode Island College trailing at Eastern Connecticut State in the fourth quarter. That's 59-45 taking place. Meanwhile, a couple of games taking place at halftime. Southern Maine leads Plymouth State by 8, and UMass Dartmouth with an early 15-point lead over Keene State. So when you look at those standings, if you're looking at it from the UMass Boston side of things, you're hoping that UMass Dartmouth can find a way to blow this game and get Keene State back into this game. Because as of right now, UMass Dartmouth is sitting at 3. Then you've got Castleton at 4, UMass at 5, Western Connecticut at 6. So the more space for the Beacons, the better. But as we talked about, home court is huge.
Yeah, you want to sneak up those rankings as much as you can. Their first game at home makes a world of difference and kind of really set the momentum for the rest of the playoff.
Yeah, the standings also, Rhode Island College 12-0. Going to have a long way to go. Man, these are the top 2 teams in the conference facing each other. Basically a battle of the number 1 seed. Who's able to take that one?
That's a big difference between the 1 and 2 seed. That is a big point differential for that close of a matchup in terms of standings.
Yeah, as of right now, they've already been eliminated. Rhode Island College, Eastern Connecticut State will have the byes. Question is 3 through 6, how do those seedings take place? And that will still happen as we go along. So about 4 minutes to go before we get started here in the second half between the Panthers and the Beak. We'll take a short break. We'll come back to you with the second half of play, all tied up at 31.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium, 31-31 as we're about to start the second half. Joe Braverman with Steve McGuire. What a strong performance. We were talking about it all throughout halftime. The Beak able to use a 6-point advantage to come back and tie this game up, down by as much as 11. And they were able to find a way to get this game all evened up. We talked about Liz Bailey leading the way with 18 points, 8 of 9 shooting. 18 of the 31 to be exact for the Spartans. So second half adjustments here. Heather Jacobs is going to be huge. Also Tim Barrett, you have to think, try and limit the 3-point shooting. You will see as that buzzer is going to sound. Starting 5 is on the floor for the Beak. That being Farina, Dixon, Green, Potter, and Olivier. And the same starting 5 for the Spartans as well. Castleton's going to start it here in the second half. And here we go. And as you were saying, Steve, big thing here in the second half, at least from the UMass side of things, is how do you stop Liz Bailey down low?
I think that's why you had to start Potter in the second half, to see if you can make the adjustment.
There's Bailey turning and scoring just like that. So already setting the tone with that little 1v1 matchup.
She's so efficient. I mean, it's just a very simple move and can really finish strong.
Farina now goes to Green. Green now to Dixon, swinging it around the perimeter. Now cut off at the baseline. Farina, free throw line jumper, no. Rebound Bailey. Goes Magro the other way. Magro using the screen, now pulls up from the free throw line off the mark. Rebound Olivier. Goes Farina now back the other way. Goes down low for Potter. Potter, there's the double team, gets it out to Dixon. Now to Green. Good job by the Spartans of cutting them off. There's Potter muscling her way in and getting the bucket.
Much better way to do that. Instead of her sitting in the post waiting for the ball, catching it on the move while going towards the post.
Yeah, Potter only played just over 4 minutes in that first half. Off the mark there from Vuz. Here's Olivier. Sees the opening, going to take it herself. Unable to hit. Good intention, though, to try and go coast to coast. McGrow going to try it. Going to pull up in the paint and score.
Somebody's got to stop the ball. You can't just be back watching.
It's almost like looking in a mirror. That's the same thing that happened on Olivier's drive.
Exactly.
Everyone was just standing watching her go into the lane. Only difference is Castleton made their bucket. Here's Dixon. Off the mark on the 3. Adams with the rebound. Quickly to McGrow. McGrow going to wait for the offense. Shot fake, drive, and blocked by Potter. Eris Tatton was there on the drive.
Tough defense on that one. You know, contested the shot, and then everybody stopped moving. They just all kind of watched.
Yeah, you had to think head coach Heather Jacobs had a quick sit down with Potter saying, this is your defensive mentality. This is what you got to do down low playing against these players.
Yep. Be big on the drives. Don't foul.
Oh, tough angle there from McGrow.
So this is what we saw at the beginning of the first quarter was cuts and drives, defense being a little slow. It seems like that second quarter mentality with some freshmen in there might be the way to go.
See how Heather Jacobs decides to play it and how quickly she decides to do it too. I think it was about midway through that first quarter decided to make that change. We're almost at that point right now with 7 minutes to go here in the second. Olivier with a deep three is short. And that's going to go to the Spartans.
All of our three-pointers so far have come from inside-out kicks. The last 2 attempts from us have been from the side. It's much tougher as a shooter to catch the ball from the side, get it in the shooting pocket, and finish. Not as good of a look.
Gross sees the lane, unable to hit. Dixon goes to Green. Quickly up the floor comes Farina. He's going to back it out. That one deflected. Green will let it go. Beacon's offense will reset. Already in this third quarter, Castleton 3 of 6. There's Olivier. Dixon off the curl, looking to drive. Floater in traffic, no. Rebound to Bailey. Now McGrow backs it out. Out to the corner for Adams. Adams in the paint, turns, fires, counted, and the foul.
That's a tough finish.
Interesting here. So far, it looks like on offense, been a lot of drifting from the corner into the paint, and those fall-away shots seem to be working.
They're super tough to guard. I mean, like, you're doing all you can. You're pushing them away from the basket. You know, if they're going to hit those shots, I'm not sure what you can do to fix that.
Liz Bailey now with 20 points. Meanwhile, Emily Adams with a chance for a three-point play, try and get this lead back to 7. Goes in and out. Dixon grabs the miss. Jensen and Fevry came back in, so Jacobs making that switch, as you said. But Potter remains in. That pass, a little bit of a miscommunication there. Also a deflection. McGrow is going to back it out. Goes to Tatton. Tatton with the up fake to Bailey on the elbow. Potter with no space. Now a double team. Is this going to be a foul on Potter? It will be.
Felt like pretty good defense. Got a little handsy, but that was the right thing to do, is trap high up away from the basket.
That's 3 fouls now on Potter. It's also another reason why Potter hasn't been able to play. Had those 2 quick fouls. There's McGrow for the cutting Buzz. Buzz, no good on the layup. There's Potter with the rebound. Over now to Jensen. Olivier down low. Potter turns off the glass and good. And you have to think if Potter can maintain those fouls, limit that foul trouble, it's going to go back and forth inside down low between her and Liz Bailey.
Yeah, you got to leave it at 3 for this whole quarter. You can't let it get to the 4-point mark.
McGrow turns, sees the angle, and scores.
These guards are filthy. They have fantastic moves.
Now Jensen setting up the offense. McGrow just got herself in double digits. She's got 11 points now. Dixon looking, uses the screen, gets into the paint, floater, counted, and the foul.
Tough finish, really nice finish there.
Meg Dixon through traffic. Now has herself in double digits, 10 points, 5 rebounds. And that's going to be the second one on Bailey as a timeout is taken right at the halfway mark here of the third quarter. Beacon's maintaining the striking distance though.
Yeah, that was a really good play right there. The last couple of times down, transition defense has been poor. I remember my coach
cheer for
telling
the
me,
stumbles.
if your man goes to the hoop, he scores 0 points, but if the ball does, it's 2 or 3. So pick up the ball in transition. Don't worry about who you're guarding. Just worry about the ball before you worry about where your man is.
Again, 41-37. Castleton remains on top. Again, here in this third quarter, Spartans are 50% from the field. All of them have been field goals. No three-pointers, no free throws, no nothing. Beacons, meanwhile, 3 of 8, 0 of 2 from 3. And that's sort of been the theme, at least for UMass Boston, is it's been all about momentum. And one of the keys we continue to talk about is shot selection, being smart with those shots. Are you seeing them so far being smart with their shot selection?
You know, it's the 2 3-pointers we have taken have just been off basic passes. You have to have the defensive moving and catch it in rhythm, as opposed to just a swing pass from the top of the key. So they're struggling from 3. When they get the first one in rhythm, that's when the momentum changes in the first half. I'm hoping that happens again in the second half.
So Dixon now has a chance to complete the 3-point play on the 7th free throw attempt here. Or they're 5 of 6. Meanwhile, on the evening, they're 4 of 15 from beyond the arc. So their threes have really come from momentum. Free throw is no good. Rare miss there for Dixon, one of the top free throw shooters in the conference. McGrow to the corner for Buzz. 3-pointer. Pure.
And that's the first possession, I think, this entire game where Liz Bailey wasn't in the post. And immediately they get a 3-pointer.
And we talked about that 3-headed monster in Buzz, Bailey, and McGrow. They're all in the top 10 in scoring in the LEC. But so far we've been talking about Bailey. Haven't heard a lot from Buzz or McGrow. 7 on the shot clock. Fevry loses the handle. Olivier gathers it. And is this going to be a foul on Buzz on the reach? Looks like it will be. So Buzz will pick up her second personal.
Yeah, you got to love the freshman going to help the other team off the ground and the senior coming over and grabbing her, telling her, no, you don't have to do that.
Dixon off the mark. Loose ball is gathered by Tatton. Now McGrow will be back the other way. Here's shot from McGrow is off the mark, and that went off of Dixon. Extra possession here coming up for Castleton. Talked about that 3-headed monster. Bailey with 20 points, McGrow with 10, Buzz with 7. Adams. Here is Buzz. Sees the space. Off the mark on the jumper. And that goes off of Potter. And, oh, it doesn't go off of Potter. Referee corrected himself. It's going to go to the Beacons.
Really good sub there. Potter was definitely, much bigger than her opponent. So on the other side, defensively, it was going to be tough for her to keep up. Really good substitution to bring in somebody smaller and faster.
And it's almost these key stretches that are going to decide the game. If you don't have Bailey on the floor, and who knows how long Bailey is going to be on that bench. And oh, what a play by McGrow coming up with the steal. Now waits for the defense. Now blows right past and gets the layup.
Wow, that was impressive. That was a really good move.
McGrow has to be one of the players, I'd say, maybe the highest IQ for a basketball player. McGrow did a smart play there, took the steal, but waited for the defense as Olivier is off on that 3.
Yeah, instead of just forcing a layup with 2 defenders, she dribbled it out, let the 2 defenders separate, and then took 1-on-1. Really smart.
Very heads-up play. The senior guard from Rutland, Vermont. There she is again, driving with the left off the mark. Now Dixon in the corner. And Dixon is the center out there for the Beaks, playing out on the perimeter. Here's Pearson with the lane and a travel.
Offense just really unsure what to do there. They kind of were, nobody was filling the space, so they were forcing the guard to go 1-on-1, and then nobody cut. So it got really, really stagnant, not really productive.
The 12th team turnover for UMass Boston here on the evening. Spartans have committed 8 turnovers. McGrow, once again, stops on the dime. Buzz, falls down, keeps the possession though. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Got 10, and an offensive foul. And Tatiana Febri again putting her footprint and her mark on this game. forcing the charge on Tatton.
Freshman being the spark plug. I love that.
And what gets lost here, Steve, up and down the roster, you have a fairly young team. Look out there right now. Pearson, Fevry. You had Jensen out there a moment ago. It's a very young team mixed with some veterans.
It's a good mix. Veterans do the smart plays. Freshmen do all the energy stuff.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go. 7 on the shot clock here for Rena. She's going to drive herself, pull up from the elbow, off the mark, rebound to Tatton. And McGrow settling things down here. Here's Vuz. Vuz, oh, crossover, step back, three-pointer. Off the mark, loose rebound, gathered by Fevry. Kind of a quiet night shooting for Vuz. Farina with the travel there. Vuz has gone back-to-back games here struggling with the shot. She was 2 of 9 in the loss to Eastern Connecticut. And here today, Vuz is 2 of 10. Timeout taken by UMass Boston. Minute 35 to go in this third quarter. 46-37.
Got Liz Bailey check back into the game, so that little stretch where you could have potentially got a lead without her out there, that opportunity has passed.
15-6 right now. The Castleton is outscoring UMass Boston in this third quarter. Meanwhile, the shooting just continues to be strong for Castleton. 44% from the field. Outscoring UMass in the paint 30-16, the exact same margin they used in their overtime victory on January 4th.
Huh. Yeah, guards are incredibly fantastic ball handlers, and then you have a really solid big man in the post. It's kind of a recipe for disaster.
I think the good word for these guards for Castleton is crafty.
Yeah.
Very crafty with the basketball. They'll fake you with the drive. They'll put in a step back. Very versatile.
Yeah, crafty is a great term.
And there is McGrow, blocked from behind by Dixon. Good play, as McGrow had nothing but an open basket in the paint. Good recovery to knock it out of bounds. Potter check back in. It's almost like Heather Jacobs going to go tip that here. Saw Bailey back in, going to get Potter back in. McGrow in the corner, baseline drive, and gets it off the glass. This matches the largest lead now for the Spartans at 11.
Yeah, what saved us in the first half was three-pointers. We need a couple here.
And there's a foul there as Pearson was under the bucket. Pearson will get herself to the line with 1:05 to go in the third. This is going to be the third here to go on Kelly Vuz. She's going to have to she's forced to go to the bench with those 3 fouls. See Maggie McKieran back in. Pearson has got herself 2 shots here. First one off the mark, though, for the freshman from London. Yes, London, England, to be exact.
Not New London, Connecticut.
Pearson goes 1 of 2, gets it to 10. Coming up in the final minute. Again, this is number 4, number 5 in the LEC standings. You mentioned your scoreboard here. Beacons and Spartans trying to solidify a home game. Oh, what a fake by Tad and drawing the foul on Potter. So now Potter in a dangerous position with 4 personal.
Wanted to get out of this third quarter with only 3.
And it's interesting, it looked like that the Beacons were testing out a zone defense.
Sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. And a zone against a team that can drive really well and doesn't want to shoot could work.
First one there, good for Tatton. Looks like Jacobs is going to get Sonny Green in.
Personally, I love running zone defense. I got to be in the middle and tell everybody where to go. Didn't have to run that far. It was fantastic.
And Potter able to grab the rebound on the miss. and drew the foul. No, that's the 15th foul, so Potter's going to get herself to the line as the Spartans are now in the bonus. Yeah, when you're playing zone defense, as you say, you got to have strong communication.
That's all it is. I mean, there's not as much movement, but there just has to be hustle and somebody talking direct traffic.
Now Potter will get herself to the line for attempt 10 and 11 for the Spartans. Again, Potter, one of the stronger players, one of the in the top 10 in field goal percentage. Conference knocks down the first one. On the year, Potter a 57% shooter. 2 of 2 goes Potter, gets that lead to single digits, and now she'll come out for Sunny Green.
Got to protect for that last quarter. Hopefully they can make a run here in these last couple seconds. Get some momentum going into the fourth.
Here's McGrow. Over to McKieran. And Fevry again gets her hands in there. Now knocks it away. He's going to try and chase for it and unable to get it in time. You got to love the hustle play, though. Fevry telegraphing almost every pass.
That's a freshman who hasn't been injured yet. Just willing to dive on the floor and do all the crazy stuff.
I mean, when you have a young body like she does, you got to take advantage of it.
You just throw yourself at the floor as often as possible.
Fevry backs off of McKieran. Now fakes the shot and a shot clock violation. As I think the Spartans got a little confused. The shot clock did not reset, if you remember.
Yeah.
And they had it all the way in the back court. Now shot clock is turned off.
There was some zone defense. You called it right. It looked good.
Farina setting up the offense here. 6 seconds to go. Looking for options to Dixon. Dixon's got to put up a shot. Does over traffic. And off the mark. So Beacon struggling like they did in the first here in the third, but they do have a 9-point margin to work with. Can they come back against the Spartans? We'll find out when we'll be right back.
The Heat should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Fourth quarter underway, 49-40, Spartans on top of the Beacons. Joe Braverman, Steve McGuire here in the fourth. Steve, what did you see from that third quarter, and what can you see for adjustments on the UMass side heading into the fourth?
Energy and ball movement. The drives are all coming from one-on-one. There's no real cuts, screens happening. It's kind of a lot of watching. You got to start moving with some purpose.
Jensen now to Dixon. Again, you don't see Alexa Potter out there. 4 personal fouls. Dixon's going to shoot and is off the mark. Again, the offense for the Beaks has gone cold. Had a very strong second quarter, especially shooting from 3. They haven't made a three-pointer since. They're 4 of 16. Buzz doesn't hit a 3. Dixon with the board. There's Green driving, looking for Fevry. Good play by Buzz, and she takes it away. McGrow pushing it up. McGrow now in an isolation using a screen from Bailey. Now gets to the baseline, reverse layup, doesn't get the bounce. Green gathers the miss.
A real tough finish.
Meanwhile, Meg Dixon went into halftime with 10 points, or 8 points, I should say. And she's only scored 2 here in the second half. Very unlike the graduate from Hanover Math.
Yeah, not a lot of open looks for her. They're really they're not helping off of her at all on drives. And you can tell by that last shot she took at the end of the third, they're really just all over. They're not giving her any space.
Farina will make the inbound here. Bailey, McGrow, Tatton, Adams, and McKieran are in for the Spartans. Farina, corner 3. Off the mark. There's Adams with the miss. Here goes McGrow again. Looks like McGrow wanting to slow the pace down a little bit. Gets in. Wild shot, no good. Bailey with the rebound, and a loose ball foul is going to go on Liz Bailey. That's now 3 personal fouls. So you got both centers in foul trouble. Potter's got 4, Bailey's got 3.
Good for us.
Here's Fevery right at the elbow. Have a little hop step. Wild shot, no good.
Yeah, the ball got to Fevery, and then everybody just stood and watched. No offense developed. He was forced to do something one-on-one. It's just not what we need.
Now Bailey at the top. Bailey, by the way, hasn't scored here. Oh, what a play by Jensen. Straight up strip. Now Jensen swinging it around. Farina. I was about to say, Liz Bailey has not scored here in the third quarter. And Sunny Green has scored, though. Knocking down the 3. Got it to 6.
That's exactly what we need. We need an open shot. Get some momentum, get some energy from the bench.
Bailey over to Adams. Adams back to the middle. There's Dixon coming up with the steal. Got a 2-on-1. Dixon leans in and draws the contact.
Saw that coming from about a mile away. As soon as they crossed the half-court line, said, "Oh yeah, I know this person's trail. I'm going to bump into him."
Interesting, Dixon too had Fevery as well. Decided to take it herself. Dixon does get to the line. Draws the second personal to go on Tat. As mentioned, only 2 points here in the second half. You have to think offense. If there's any shot to get back into this thing, Dixon's got to start shooting it.
Yeah, I think that's why she kept the ball herself. She could have given it off to the freshman, but she knew she needed to get to the line, see the ball go through the basket a couple times.
4 of 15 shooting, 2 of 8 free. Does have 6 rebounds. And now has a total of 12 points. She's the leading scorer for the Beaks. McGrow is going to take it all the way to the bench and call a timeout. Let's take a look. As again, the Beaks have it down to 4. Let's look at that play once again. You'll see, watch the steal from Jensen, just straight up taking it away. And so far, you'd have to say here in the second, see it swinging around, Sunny Green, wide open for the 3. But as you said, I think you have to, with as bad as the offense is struggling, you got to give credit to the defense. This is a Castleton team, almost 62 points per game, holding them right now at 49. But right here in the second half, I mentioned it, Liz Bailey's in check, hasn't scored a point yet. And granted, she sat for most of it. But defensively, the adjustments were made, and Bailey's held in check.
Yeah, you know, Castleton looked like they went on a little bit of a run there. We looked stagnant, but they never pulled away to a point where you thought this game was over. And now we're within 4 points, and momentum shifting back to us.
Of course, when you have Bailey struggling, if you have a 3-headed monster, you get McGrow involved. McGrow with 14 points and 5 assists on 6 of 17 shooting.
Just crafty. She's a tough one to guard.
And it's almost like the strategy defensively for the Beaks is, hey, they can attack the lane, but make those shots difficult once they get to the paint.
Yep, that's exactly it. If you can't stick them one-on-one, the help has to be fantastic.
Points in the paint right now are 32-16 in favor of the Spartans.
A little 2-3 zone action.
Talked about it, it's worked so far. And you notice a little bit how they're collapsing the middle and the paint. McGrow off the mark on the 3, rebound for Arena.
That's exactly what you're looking for in that 2-3.
Jensen backs it out. This is a Castleton team that does shoot 27% from 3. Dixon knocks it in from the corner, and it's a 1-point game.
She needed to see the ball go in on free throws and then got a pass inside out for the next 3-point shot she got.
It's almost like a replay from the first half. Beacons go down early in the first. They come back, tie it up in the second quarter. Third quarter, they get down. And here they are, only down 1.
Now, this is something I've noticed about this Beacons team is when the energy starts picking up, we get a little careless on defense. It's nice to have energy, but you don't have to get a steal every time. You still have 6.5 minutes to go. You can chip away and win.
Third personal foul to go on Jensen. So you have Potter on the floor with 4. Jensen on the floor with 3. You have Bailey also on the floor for Castleton with 3. Down low, Bailey turn and hook off the glass. Back out. Beacons now down 3. Again, this is number 4 and number 5 in the conference. Castleton, conference record 7-5. Beacons, conference record 5-7. Dixon sees the lane. Wild layup is good.
Tough finish.
It's almost like Dixon was surprised she had that lane. She was kind of expecting contact.
Yeah, she was out of rhythm, but she managed to get really close to the basket and still finish.
Around the perimeter, Adams. Down low for Tatton. Out deep 3. Off the mark, rebound Potter. McKieran was on that shot.
We love that. They're shooting threes. They're not even looking at Liz on the inside.
Beaks with a chance here to take the lead. Green, 3-pointer. No, Potter tracks the rebound, turns, fires, and scores. And the Beacons have their first lead of the game.
Wow. Deep into this game to get your first lead, but they're doing the right thing on defense. I love the adjustments coach is making.
McKieran, McGrow. Look at all the space they're giving them on the 3-point line. McGrow fakes it. McKieran. All around the perimeter.
They don't know what to do with it.
McGrow, 3-pointer. No. Dixon with a rebounding foul. You heard a little bit of the crowd response not liking that as the second personal to go on Dixon. So Vuz will check back in, try and get some offense going, but smart adjustment here to make the Spartans shoot. They're now only 1 of 9 from 3 so far today.
We like it.
Now they're switching here to a man-to-man. Bailey down low. Oh, what a stretch of moves and a foul, and that's going to be it for Potter.
I mean, that's the problem. You went to man-to-man. Liz gets the ball too easily. There's no, you're not doing a half guard. You're just letting her catch it, and she's basically, 3 feet away from the basket. She can do whatever she wants at that point. You got to make the pass more difficult.
And interesting here, Coach Jacobs calling her whole team out. Not a timeout, though. They do have to make a sub. Looks like Fevry will come in. So we'll see how the defense adjusts without Potter. You saw Potter sort of playing down low in the paint, sort of taking away the baseline of Bailey in the middle of Tatton. How do you do that now with a smaller lineup?
I'm hoping they stick with the zone because with the zone they can't get the ball to pass in the first place. I think that's why they brought Vuz back into the game because they were hoping for a 3-point shooter to kind of mix it up, but she's not shooting very well. You can live with that.
Bailey got the first one to go off the front rim. Second one doesn't get the roll, so we head down the other end of the floor, tied at 52. Again, these two teams went to overtime. Last time they played on January 4th. Would not be surprised if it happened again. Fevry, crossover, gets into the paint. Sees the angle, blocked by Adams. Adams fell to the floor in the crossover, but good recovery to swat it.
As my coach used to tell me, $1 million move, 10-cent finish. Got to be ready to get all the way to the basket on that one.
McGrow. Coming up 4 minutes to go in the fourth. McGrow sees the opening. No, Bailey over the top. And now that's 4 personal fouls on Liz Bailey.
It's exactly what you have to do. If you're a smaller guard, just put a body on Liz. Box out really hard. She thinks she's bigger. She can still go get that rebound, but you're in the way.
And you almost have to think, does the adjustment now change with Bailey having 4 personal fouls?
You might have to run at her. Try to get her out of the game. Get that scoring threat out of here.
Over now to Dixon. Green has the opening for 3. Off the mark, rebound Adams. And McGrow's being very smart, settling it down.
Yeah, they're not behind. It's a tie game. You can take your time. You don't have to rush.
Interesting enough, they're back to a man-to-man. Fevry guarding Buzz. That goes over the head of Bailey. She does track it down. 8 on the shot clock. Buzz, 5 on the shot clock. Tatton, deep 3. Off the mark, rebound tip to Green.
Great defense.
Now Farina. Back it out. Jensen slowing down the offense. It almost looks like both teams are saying they're trying to control their energy.
Yeah, there's still 3 minutes left, and I think that's smart. You know, a lot of times you get hectic with this little time left. Stay calm.
Here's Green, baseline drive. Jensen opened in the corner, 5 on the shot clock. Dixon for 3. Off the mark. Farina over the top on the rebound. Put back no good. Adams with the block from behind. And an official's timeout. Looks like McGrow. She had her shoe untied, so she just wants time for that. But
senior move right there to point to the ref and say, hey, can we get a stop clock?
That's why she's the point guard. McGrow as the point guard, controlling everything.
Yep.
Adams now to Tatton. Now they're going to Bailey, and she connects, had the smaller Green on her.
In that case, when you're this small, you can't do a half guard. You just got to front and hope you can recover if they swing the ball, but she's just too big and too solid.
Green somehow finds Fevry. Fevry back to Dixon. Out of Farina, coming up on 2 minutes here in the 4th. Farina backs it out to Dixon. Dixon, cross court. Fevry fakes it. Hop step. Floater off the glass, no. And official says off of Fevry. Spartans get it back.
That was off the Spartans. I can see it from here. I'm wearing my glasses, I can tell.
4th quarter here. Spartans are shooting 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3. Only 5 points in this quarter. Tatton. Now to Vuz. I think a bucket here would be huge to get some breathing room here. McGrow, no. Rebound gathered by Farina. Final 90 seconds. Farina backs it out. Here goes Dixon. Dixon with the baseline drive, finds the angle and scores.
Way to be aggressive, to realize that they weren't set and take advantage of the baseline.
As they say, big-time players making big-time plays. That's what Dixon just did, coming up on the final minute. And the Beacons have tied it up once again. Timeout, Spartans. It's going to be a full timeout here called by Tim Barrett. So again, answer after answer between these two teams. Dixon with a big layup just a few moments ago. Let's take a look at that play again, Steve. How Dixon was able to create that play and get herself free. Farina bringing it up.
Coming on the trail, realizing everybody's up by the free throw line. And realizing the last couple plays, they haven't done anything with a stagnant half-court offense. Just take advantage of it.
Here from the baseline cam. And you saw Dixon look over her left shoulder, saw that no one was going to come and sort of help her out, so she knew she had the angle.
Really smart play when you realize the last couple times down you haven't really produced anything good. Just take it yourself.
So again, 1:13 to go. Beacons trailed by as much as 11, both in the first and in the third quarter. And Joe Braverman, Steve McGuire. This is only game 1, remember, Steve. We still got another game to do. We got the men coming up between Castleton and UMass Boston.
Doubleheaders are tough.
The Spartans have Adams, Bailey, Buzz, McGrow, and Tatton on the floor. Beacons with Jensen, Green, Dixon, Farina, and Fevry. Tatton, the Buzz. Buzz looking for Bailey. Bailey's got it right at the elbow. Bailey, and an offensive foul. Sonny Green draws the charge, and Liz Bailey has fouled out of the game.
That is a smart, smart play. They got crafty guards, so do we.
Right at the final minute, both centers have fouled out. And it is the 15th foul. That's something else to keep in track of. Watch the foul again. Take a look at Green. What do you think?
Oh, just great defense.
You saw a little of the elbow come out.
Yep. And it's a size advantage thing. You have to know just because the person's smaller than you doesn't you get to completely dominate them.
Beacons now possibly with a chance to take the lead. They've only led one time throughout this whole game. Fevry. Farina was trying to get to the post. Green. Over on the elbow. Down low is Farina under the basket, and she scores!
What a great pass.
Are the Spartans going to call a timeout?
Doesn't look
No,
like
they're
it.
not. They're going to let him play. McGrow, three-pointer. No. Rebound. Farina had the handle. Now a dive for it. And it's going to be Spartans' ball. Both Buzz and Farina were diving for it.
Interesting three-pointer by McGrow. She hasn't shot well this game. Her burn butter's been going to the basket. Early three-pointer.
And interesting there on the rebound, you saw Jensen and Farina there with a miscommunication. That could be huge, as both players had their hands on it. And yes, Tim Barrett's going to call a timeout here. So Beacons with a huge play on the other end of the floor. Now with 25 seconds to go, they lead by 2. Steve, how did Farina get so wide open? Let's take a look at the play again, as Farina was wide open under the basket.
Oh, man, they just got lost. I mean, fantastic recognition to realize nobody's guarding you and get to a place where you can score.
So excellent heads-up play, carrying Farina, the senior forward from Arlington, Mass., with the deciding field goal right now. What do you think Heather Jacobs is telling her huddle right now here defensively?
You got to just get in front of the guards. Don't let them drive, and watch the people cutting off that drive. That's what's going to end up happening. That bread and butter is going to the right side, fading away from the basket. Push them left if you can.
A 2 ties it. 3 gets the lead. Meanwhile, Felicia Poirier was the replacement for Bailey. Bailey finished the game with 25 points and 4 rebounds. Here's McGrow. Shot clock turned off. Over to Adams.
Good switch.
Using the screen. McGrow curling. Now drives. Floater. Wow. Got the roll. Timeout Beacons. Elise McGrow, the senior guard with a difficult shot in the paint, has tied this game up once again.
You could tell that play was for her right from the beginning. As soon as she passed and cut all the way around, it was go time.
So McGrow, and you saw her, you almost feel like you knew she was going to get the ball, but what kind of play was it going to be? Let's watch that play one more time. She did a lot of moving without the basketball.
That was a Steph Curry type of offensive possession.
So here's the play again, off of the curl. How about the finish, too?
Yeah, it's tough.
Right before Fevry came with the double team, was able to sort of fling it up there. So now, 11.9 to go. You'd have to think the Beacons are going to hold for the final shot.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get one early, do it. I think that what ends up happening is kind of let it settle in. But if you can get an attack early, right when you catch the ball, I'd rather score than, wait all the way to the buzzer and leave it up to chance.
How fitting that these two teams might be going to overtime. a little over a month after they went to overtime once before. And you got to remember, if this does go to overtime, both centers are out. No Liz Potter, no Alexa Potter, no Liz Bailey.
Yep.
That's going to be huge, but obviously we got to cross that bridge when we get there, if we get there.
Hoping for some magic right now. Let's see what they got.
Beacons have Green, Farina, Jensen, Dixon, and Olivier into the game, obviously for shooting purposes. Green into Farina. Farina driving in. Out to Jensen. Jensen fakes the corner three. He's got a drive, puts it up, blocked from behind. What a defensive play by Poirier. And we've got more basketball coming your way. Off to overtime. Interesting play set up there, Steve.
Yeah, you know, it looked like they were indecisive. They're just going to set a pick and hope for the best. But you got to get some people moving. You can't watch the last shot of the game.
And how about Felicia Poirier getting the block, who really, honestly, you might not know if she's in the game or not if Liz Bailey doesn't foul out.
Yeah.
And here she is coming up with the big defensive play. Watch this again right before we start overtime. Check out the block here from Poirier. It was Jensen who was driving.
A lot of players just watching that unfold, though. You got to be in a position to score. You can't just watch.
It was kind of funny. We had our producer, Michael Vesky, up here. He was pointing to the corner, looking for Jensen, but maybe just too little too late there.
He saw it. We all saw it, but the play wasn't running that way.
So now overtime period here. These two teams fighting for home court advantage, or at least one home court game, I should say, in a quarterfinal matchup. This is number 4 and number 5 in the conference standings. And as we mentioned, Steve, no Bailey, no Potter. You have to think that these two teams are going to run small lineups.
Yeah, this is going to be guard-heavy drives by Castleton and some good shooting by us.
It'll be Dixon and Poirier who's going to jump it up. And the tip is won by Castleton, but taken away by Sonny Green.
Very nice.
That's how you start the overtime period. Here we go. Farina starts with it. Over now to Green. Green gets the cutter. Farina blocked again by Poirier.
Great back door. Finally some good cuts, but great defense.
Now McGrow over to Tatton. Buzz sees the opening. It's a two-pointer. Off the mark. Boy, Buzz just can't find the shot. Poirier, offensive rebound, and she draws the foul. Felicia Poirier, the freshman forward, 5'10", from Ferrisburg, Vermont, has made an impact since she came in.
Yeah, you know, there was 4 Beacons on that ball, and she managed to get the rebound and do something with it. That's pretty impressive.
Meanwhile, Kelly Buzz, on that initial shot, she just continues to struggle here. Buzz shot 2 of 9 last Saturday. Here today, she's 2 of 12.
My dad would put it, couldn't hit water if it fell out of a boat. Tough time.
Poirier off on the first one. Spartans, that's their 15th attempt. This will be their 16th attempt from the free throw line. 0 for 2, rebound Dixon. Now here come the Beacons. Spartans are 9 of 16, 56% from the free throw line. Jensen to Dixon, has the space, knocks it down!
That is a big-time shot in overtime.
And it's been the three-pointer that's been the difference. McGrow driving, throws it up off the glass, too strong. Loose ball gathered by Adams, initially stripped. Adams stays with it, here's Buzz. Sidestep, layup, no, and rebound Dixon.
That was a hectic possession, but good thing we got the rebound at the end of that.
Dixon after that bucket now with 22 points, 8 rebounds. She shot 4 of 11 from 3, 8 of 20 overall. Fevry backs it out. Olivier driving in, back to Fevry, gathers it back. 8 on the shot clock. Green gets into the paint, layup, too strong. Rebound Tatton. Coach is letting them play on. Here's Buzz, over to Tatton. Only down 3, still manageable. McGrow, step back 3. Long, rebound, gathered by Dixon.
That's a tough shot. McGrow has been best when she's driving to the basket. She's taken a couple three-point shots, and they just don't look good. It's not her bread and butter.
Spartans are now 1 of 12 from 3. So obviously Heather Jacobs emphasizing, hey, make them shoot, make them shoot. There's Fevry, baseline cut, extra pass. Green hesitates, gets to the paint, stays with it, and a foul called.
Good cut and pass by Fevry to get that going.
Some great passing overall by the Beacons here in this overtime period. You almost wish Green kind of shot it once she got that pass.
Yeah, with that good of a pass, you got to take advantage of it.
Green does get to the line, draws the 3rd personal foul on Adam. And Green hits the first one. And with how tight this is, a 4-point lead, possibly a 5-point lead, is a ton of breathing room.
Massive. Have to go. Everybody's tired.
Green, 1 of 2. Olivier on the offensive rebound. And a travel gets called on Olivier. Hesitation there.
Sometimes you're surprised you got the rebound on a free throw.
2 minutes 30 to go. McGrow walking the dog, trying to save as much time as possible. Again, Castleton is the 4th best three-point shooting team, but they have struggled here tonight. And Buzz gets one to go. Just as I say, it's now a 1-point game. Only the 2nd three-pointer made all night, and it comes at a perfect time.
That's on me for saying she couldn't hit water. She fell out of a boat. Karma on my part.
Here's Dixon. Under 2 minutes. Dixon finds Green. Backing it out, goes to Fevry. Fevry, baseline drive. Oh, was looking for Dixon. Might have gotten deflected. Here comes McGrow with a 3-on-1. McGrow is going to keep it herself. Layup, no. Dixon grabs the rebound, and I believe that will give her a double-double, because that's her 10th rebound.
Nice. Let's take the air out of the ball. Use the whole shot clock for this possession.
Now a minute and a half to go. Beaks with a slight 1-point lead. Jensen off the screen, sees the lane. Too strong off the glass, and Fevry called for over the top.
Sometimes you're too open for a layup.
And Fevry now with their 3rd personal foul. That puts, now both teams are in the bonus, so McGrow has a chance to tie and take the lead. Fevry's going to come out. Farina's going to check in.
Stakes are amplified in overtime. Fouls cost, turnovers cost. Got it.
McGrow gets it and ties the game. Got now 17 points. Only her 3rd and 4th free throw attempt here. And the Spartans take the lead back. Beacons again go small as Farina checked in. Farina waiting, goes back out. Dixon, cross court, Olivier, baseline, hop step, off the glass, doesn't get the bounce, gets her own miss, backs it out, over to Dixon. Dixon, long 3-pointer, in and out. And that goes off the hands of Adams. Beacons, though, remain it. That went about 90% in the basket and came out for Dixon. That would have been huge.
That was a great look for 3.
Now Jensen, back out to Dixon. Dixon from the elbow, off the front rim. That'll just go right out of bounds. Spartans get the possession back.
A little bit of a quick shot on that one. You had some time to get a better look, but she felt she earned it after that 3-pointer almost went in. She probably had one left in the chamber.
Trying to do the math. There's about 17 seconds here, so we'll see how the Spartans are going to run on offense. Adams backing it out. And is this going to be a foul on Olivier? Oh, a big mistake for Olivier. Foul called on her. And who's going to the free throw lines here? Adams will. So off the ball, Olivier picked up her third personal foul. And now Emily Adams can stretch this thing to 2, maybe 3. And is short on the first one.
A lot of nerves in overtime on that free throw.
Again, you got the freshman from Ennisburg Falls, Vermont. In a big pressure situation, as you mentioned. And she misses the second, and Green grabs the loose ball. Timeout for UMass Boston with 28 seconds to go. So we'll definitely be talking about strategy here, but let's look at a couple of plays, a couple of moments to go. There were a lot of them we had to pick through. Watch this again, this shot from Meg Dixon from beyond the arc.
Great shot. Beat, too.
Right here at the free throw line. Sunny Green again. This is the comeback. Again, another comeback here for the Beacons. So now 28 seconds to go. Shot clock is turned off. How are you approaching this? Are you taking this all the way down, or are you just going for the best shot you can?
I think it's take it the best shot you can. If something early pops up, you got to take it. Go all the way to the buzzer, you lose if you miss. So if you miss, you at least have a chance. If you miss early, you at least have a chance to get back.
And both teams are in the bonus. Both teams with 2 timeouts left. This one goes to Green. Now down low Dixon, and a foul.
We'll take it.
Gwynn Tatton called for the foul and will send Dixon to the line. So again, this game takes a curveball. Dixon has a chance to tie and or take the lead. Who knew that this game would be decided on free throws? Obviously not in this kind of way.
Off-ball fouls, we'll take it.
First and short. Very rarely do you see a miss like that from Meg Dixon.
No, 2 airball free throws last couple minutes here.
And she gets the second. The game is tied. Again, shot clock remains off. McGraw takes it up. Again, Tim Barrett going to let him play. Clock winding down. Looks like they're holding for the final shot. McGraw's going to go for the win here. Working on Jensen. There's the screen. Has the lane. Layup. No good. Rebound is blocked by Poirier. McGraw. No.
Get it out of there. Come on.
And the game will go to a second overtime. And McGraw can't believe it.
That was a good look. That's her bread and butter. That's what she wants. Tough miss.
So now we'll go to a second overtime. Boy, you thought the game January 4th was good. How about this one? Instead of 1 overtime, let's get another one in there. So let's see that. You can see the energy there for UMass Boston. They're excited, but let's look at the free throw once again. Watch Dixon. She gets the second one, and now, how about the play?
Good help by Dixon, and then it was just a free-for-all.
I think I couldn't tell if it was Green or if it was Dixon. Poirier had the offensive rebound, but she got stripped.
Yep.
So it was one of those two.
I mean, a lot of times in that situation, they're not going to blow a whistle. You just have to smack the ball out of there. If you can't control it, tip it. Get it out of there.
So now 61-61. Again, and you also got to keep in mind, this is a potential playoff matchup right here, depending on how the standings work with a week and a half left to go.
We're getting an extra 10 minutes of playtime to see who your opponent is.
And you got the men for both UMass Boston and for Castleton watching, and they are enjoying.
Yeah, I like the way that coach sat him down and made him get super hyped on the bench. Castleton staying calm. UMass trying to find the energy to pull away in these 5 minutes.
By the way, Dixon has played 45 minutes in this game. She's got 23 points, 11 rebounds. And it looks like they're going to redo the jump here.
Everybody's too tired to actually get to the ball.
And Dixon with a strong tip. Jensen tracks it down. Meanwhile, these two teams are doing it without. Oh, look at Dixon on the spinning cut. The bounce doesn't go.
Tough finish. I mean, she caught it so late.
There have been so many good shots on both ends of the floor, but the rims have just not been kind to either team. Here's Buzz floating in, draws the foul, and one. Kelly Buzz with a huge shot. She's now got 12 points here tonight. And a 13th could make it a three-point game. And look at Dixon's going to get some rest here. You can. I'm looking at her right now. She looked exhausted.
She's tired. She's been playing this whole game, basically. I'd be exhausted, too. I'm exhausted standing here.
So now where does the offense come from if Dixon's not on the floor?
It's got to be on easy buckets. You don't really have somebody who's going to create something right now. You need something just through the offense, a cut, a drive.
Green goes to Farina in the corner. Backing it out. Cross court to Fevry. 8 on the shot clock. Fevry backs it out. Now gets in. Looking for Jensen. Got poked out.
Got to look to score, not to pass.
Now McGraw back the other way. Hand off for Buzz. Poirier. Look at how wide open the paint is.
Both teams look so exhausted.
9 on the shot clock. McGraw gets around. Layup is good. Remember in the January 4th matchup, Spartans used a 16-6 run to win by 10. They're trying to do the same here in this second overtime period. Farina. Try to go for Fevry, pass off the mark. And McGraw's going to slow it down here. And you can see it, Dixon coming right back in.
You can tell both teams are exhausted. There's miscommunications, not going to be where they're supposed to be.
McGraw, pull up, off the glass.
McGraw wants to go home.
Trying to get back to Vermont with a victory. Farina setting the offense up. You have to think, if this game goes any longer with no stoppage, Coach Jacobs might need to call a timeout just to get Dixon back in. Green too far under the basket. Rebound Poirier.
Yeah, you can't go much longer with Meg on the bench.
Well, she is sitting at the scorer's table. Buzz with the handoff to Adams. Now to Tatton. Coming up on 2 minutes to go here in double overtime. Buzz Green pokes it out. Chase for the ball. Castleton still has it. 1 on the shot clock. Got to put up a shot. And it's off the mark there by McGraw. That was a little closer than we thought from up here.
Yeah, that would have been very painful if that went in.
But a good play by Green to disrupt that play.
Got to score quick here. Down 7.
2 minutes. As you said, down 7. Beacon's going to try and work in a hurry. Green now on the baseline. Adams comes in and strips it away, able to get it to McGraw. Spartans have used a 7-0 run here in double overtime and look to be in firm control now. There's the foul by Farina, sending McGraw to the line.
Yeah, this is tough. Offense looks stagnant and tired, and Castleton still has McGraw to lean on.
McGraw has come alive here in the second half. No Liz Bailey. First one is good. McGraw, by the way, she went to halftime with 4 points. 23. She's going to stick with 23.
Goodness.
A 21-point second half plus overtime. And, of course, you had Kelly Buzz, the other point of the three-headed monster. Oh, big-time shot by Olivier. Keeps the game within striking distance. Now at 5, there's a foul by Farina. McGrow back to the line. So it looks like Beek is trying to foul early on.
Going 2 for 3. That was a tough shot, though.
Difficult shot by Paige Olivier. Freshman coming up big. First one is good. Second one here for McGrow. Good. She's got 25 on the night.
She's not the one you want shooting free throws right now.
Oh, and a miscommunication there. Green was going to set the screen. Farina wanted to go to Green. Instead, Olivier. And a travel gets called. Big mistake. Inbounded to McGrow. There's the foul by Olivier. Minute 8 to go. Beacons, by the way, that turnover was their 20th of the night.
Took them 4 quarters and 2 overtimes to get to their average. Cleaned it up after that first quarter quite a bit.
And you're starting to see the effect. You see McGrow missing the first one. Looking at points in the paint, 42-24 in favor of the Spartans. Points off turnovers, 18-13. Oh, McGrow goes 0 for 2.
All right, let's get something quick here.
Goes Jensen up the floor. To Olivier in the corner. Off the mark on the 3. There's Dixon, offensive rebound. Second chance bucket. No, rebound Adams. And again, the shots are there here in this double overtime, but they are not falling.
Good crash. It was a good-looking shot, too. Better pick faded Olivier to the corner. It was a wide-open look. Those are the ones that have to fall.
Oh, Emily Adams is going to go to the line here. Our free throw attempt, 28 and 29. As Adams misses the first. And you're seeing these opportunities that Castleton continues to give. Missing shots, missing free throws. Spartans have just been giving the Beacons opportunities, and the Beacons haven't been able to capitalize on offense. And Heather, oh, is that a lane violation here by Olivier? She got a little anxious boxing out Adam.
Yeah, it's a little tough. You can let that one slide.
And misses, so luckily no harm, no foul on the lane violation. Coach Jacobs going to call a timeout to advance the ball down 7.
Yeah, I mean, Castleton not making any free throws. They missed their last at 5 attempts.
Let's take a look at some of the plays here that we've seen from this overtime and the double overtime period. Check out this play here by Olivier, keeping it within distance. Left alone, knocks it down.
Great shot. I mean, that was a tough shot. Caught it. It looked like she caught it out of rhythm. Was able to hit it. Would have liked that last one to go too.
Beacons are 8 of 27 from 3. But they're still within striking distance. This doesn't seem totally insurmountable. Down 7, less than a minute to go. They have one timeout and no fouls to give.
Got to score quick before 45 seconds.
Dixon on the inbound goes to Green. Green now back to Dixon. Dixon wanted the 3, now sidesteps the 3, and a foul is called. Meg Dixon was fouled shooting the 3. She'll go for 3 free throws, and Kelly Buzz has fouled out of the game.
Great pump fake at sidestep.
So how about this? We talked about that 3-headed monster. 2 of the 3 are now fouled out. Bailey's been out since the 4th quarter, and now Buzz is fouled out.
Bailey not being in the game makes a huge difference. It kind of changed their way they had to play defense. But this second overtime period is tough from the guard play.
And made the first one. Misses the second one. Got to get it at least to 5 here. Currently 6. And again, it rolls out. Dixon goes 1 of 3. Gonna be a foul or an out of bounds. It looks like it's Farina. Is that 5 for Farina? So Farina is fouled out now.
You did commit the foul, but you got a free throw. Everybody, you can tell, everybody's completely gassed. Legs aren't doing what you're asking.
And you have McGrow at the line. So really, you'd think for the Beacons, if you're playing the free throw strategy, take it out of 14's hand. You try and get someone else to shoot.
Yep. You have 3 other. I mean, the other 4 players haven't had many offensive opportunities. They might rhythm.
Now McGrow at the line. She's now the leading scorer. She misses the first one. She's now the leading scorer with 25 points. Make it 26 on this missed free throw. Second one where McGrow is good. The lead is back up to 7. Quick layup, no good for Jensen. Gets her own miss, trying to get it out of there. Does to Dixon. Olivier's open for 3. Off the mark, rebound Tatton. There's the foul.
Tough. Got a good look.
Oh, and a timeout was called. Thought there was a foul there. So timeout here by Castleton, and even 30 seconds to go here in double overtime. And it looks like Castleton's in a really good spot right now with that defensive stop.
Yeah, they've gotten lucky. They've given opportunities to the Beacons, and the Beacons just couldn't capitalize. Tough to see.
So while we're got this break, let's look at elsewhere around the LEC. Eastern Connecticut State has won 66-56 over Rhode Island College. That means that both RIC and ECSU are 12-1 in the conference. We also got Southern Maine and Plymouth State taking place. And it was Southern Maine who came up with the 68-52 victory. And the big game that everyone's looking at, UMass Dartmouth, because they are sitting in 3rd place, they easily handled Keene State 69-34. Inbound goes to McGrow. Jensen not going to foul here. Shot clock is turned off, so they could just dribble it out unless Beacons with some heavy pressure here. And there's the foul.
Yeah, that was just kind of settling in and knowing that it might be over and letting it go.
Magro will now go back to the free throw line. Done 8 of 12. I'll make it 9 of 13 as she continues to have a strong second half plus overtime.
Had a very serious game.
That's now 28 points, with 24 of them coming here in the second half plus overtimes. Jensen driving and scoring. Again, it's at 7. Jensen gets a hand in there. There's another foul. So it is looking like the Beacons are running out of gas here, as now Jensen is fouled out of the game.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. Not much you can do in that amount of time.
So if all stays the way, Castleton's going to win. They're going to go to 8-5 and get a good gap on that number 4 spot. Again, the 4th seed is the last home spot where you're eligible for a home game in the conference playoff. As McGrow hits the first one. On the cusp of 30 points here. Meanwhile, UMass Boston's going to go to 5-8. And luckily, WestCon not playing tonight. So As of right now, it's currently 5th place. Pearson, and there's McGrow with the steal. That just puts the exclamation point on it. And in a highly entertaining game here from Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium, the Spartans with the double overtime victory over the Beacons. Your final score 76-67. I mean, tough result for the Beacons, but what an entertaining game.
Yeah, to go to double overtime like that and have a, Beacons had to come back from being down a couple points quite a few times. So it was fun to watch them battle. Just ran out of gas in the end.
So we are going to take a short break. We'll give you our final stats here from the game. But once again, the Spartans over the Beacons, 76-67 in double overtime. We'll give you some stats. We'll sign off and get you ready for the men's game in just a few moments. We'll be right back.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university.
Final score once again, 76-67 in double overtime. The women of Castleton knock off the Beacons from UMass Boston. Here are your final numbers here. It was really tough, I say, offensively for the Beacons. They made those comebacks in the second quarter and then the fourth quarter. They kept it close in those overtimes, but just overall as a team, they had a hard time shooting. You see 32%, 28 from 3. It was a hard night for the Beacons.
Yeah, when they were off those runs, everything was really stagnant. Everybody was watching basketball take place. I blame it on the heaters being on in the building. It drains the energy out of you.
But how about, looking at some of these numbers? You got to be impressed, though. 65% from the field. They kept it close in the rebounding margin. Obviously, the turnovers are not where you want to be. You clean those up a little bit. The fact that this did get to double overtime, Beacon should be really happy with how they fought back in this one.
I agree. I mean, we mentioned this is a potential playoff matchup. You can stick with them even when you're not playing well. You can come back from any deficit and be competitive. You got to hold on to that thought and run with it. So
the Beacons dropping this game. They did win 4 of their last 6 coming into today, but they fall to 12-11 overall, conference record of 5-8. Meanwhile, Castleton goes to 15-7 and a conference record of 8-5. The leaders, we talked about it near the end of overtime, but how about Elise McGrow picking up the slack? Liz Bailey, 25 points. She fouls out. Here comes McGrow, 30 points and 6 rebounds.
Those 30 points were tough points, too. They weren't easy buckets for her. She worked really hard and did a lot of work in that second half. And overtimes, Yeah, you know when your best scorer, your big man goes out, you got to pick up the slack, and she did that.
Then, of course, for the UMass side, you have to talk about Meg Dixon. 24 points, 13 rebounds. Really going down the stretch, it's where do you find that other scoring? You see Sunny Green had 9. Alexa Potter had 8 before she fouled out. Tatiana Fevry is 9. We talked about in the second half. Keep a close eye on Fevry down the stretch. But really, it's all about finding that secondary option.
Yeah, nobody in double figures is a problem. You can't have Meg Dixon doing all the work. Fevry is a great spark plug, but she still has less confidence when she's driving to the basket. She's not quite that scorer just yet. You need somebody to step up and be able to do something different.
So now your upcoming schedule for women's basketball. They've got 3 games left in the regular season before we get to the playoffs. This Saturday, they will be at Rhode Island College. That kicks off at 1. Then a week from today, they will be right here taking on Southern Maine, following up with the regular season finale at Keene State at 1 p.m. Steve, that's just the women's game. We still got a men's game to call here. So let's get rested up as much as we have. But, of course, we got to thank our wonderful production team up here who made this double overtime team happen. Our producer, Michael Vesky, just off to our right. Our director, Gina Albano. Our camera operators, Elsa Vanacho, Ali Albano, Colin Ford, Elena Albano. Graphics just to our left, Tam Landry. And our replay center by Grace Kelly. Steve McGuire, you stay right here. I am Joe Braverman. Thank you for watching women's basketball here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Game 2 of our